Welcome to the State Farm Gamebreak Show.
More action coming your way, and here's what's at stake. Caleb Williams and the Bears can lock up the number 2 seed in the NFC with a win against the Detroit Lions. In the AFC, Drake May and the Patriots take the number 2 seed with a win over the Dolphins. And fellow MVP candidate Matthew Stafford and the Rams look to secure the number 5 seed in the NFC as they play the Arizona Cardinals. So much still up in the air as we welcome you to the State Farm post-game show. The Falcons getting the win 19-17, which means we do know that the winner of the NFC South is the Carolina Panthers, and that's why their fans were celebrating there. Much more that we know as well, including the winner of the AFC South after the conclusion of today's game in Jacksonville.
Jaguars looking to clinch the AFC South with the win. Trevor Lawrence, that's Cam Ward, quarterback for Tennessee, leaving with a bruised shoulder, would not return. Lawrence to Parker Washington. Safety's gone, got inside the corner. That's all he needed. Got the ball in for a 23-yard touchdown. We're tied off at 7. End of the flat. Lawrence to Quentin Morris for a 5-yard touchdown. Lawrence is third of the day. Lawrence now has the single franchise record for total touchdowns with 38, passing Blake Bortles 28-7 at that point. Of course, the final is 41-7. Jacksonville all over the Tennessee Titans.
And so they wrap up the AFC South. They could be no worse than the number 3 seed, possibly the number 1 seed if both New England and Denver lose. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. But how about after the game, Christina Pink with the winning quarterback?
All right, you've got the division champ hat ready to go. You told me how much it meant to you to win the AFC South. Now that you've got it done, put it in perspective.
Man, it feels great. Obviously, like I said, it's hard to win your division. It's a tough division. Obviously, you see how the year has gone and played out, and it's an accomplishment to do. So obviously, it's just starting for us. We know that there's more football ahead for us. We got to take it 1 week at a time, but we're going to celebrate this one tonight. I mean, this season, it's taken a lot of work. We've had to take it 1 week at a time, and now we're in a spot where we won the division. We get a chance in the playoffs, and now we get to keep playing.
Another 4,000-yard season for you. We saw how happy your teammates were for you. Just what did it mean for you to be able to accomplish that, given how much change you've had over the years?
It means a lot. I mean, it's definitely an accomplishment to be able to do that in this league. I feel like that's kind of the standard. I feel like that's something I should do. But, you know, guys got to block for me. Guys got to catch the ball. A lot of stuff has to go right for that to happen. So it's never just me, but definitely grateful for this group that I've been able to do it with.
Okay, you're celebrating being a division champ, but we also saw the shirt you wore into the stadium today, so another celebration going on for you. A year ago today, you became a girl dad. What's that mean?
Yep. Man, it's been the best. Yeah, it's my daughter Shay's first birthday today, so we're going to go celebrate, spend some time with her, eat some cake, and enjoy it. It's obviously after a win, it's even better, but it's just special being her dad.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Christina. Appreciate it.
So obviously plenty of reason for Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars to celebrate not only a birthday but a division championship. And they go into the playoffs having won 8 straight games at 13-4 and an outside shot, as we said, of being the number 1 seed. Meanwhile, Green Bay's heading to the playoffs, kind of going the other direction.
Kurt, I threw for 2,000 yards one year. Boy, I like never got over that celebration.
That was that arm, didn't you?
Yeah. Jordan Love sitting out, the quarterback for Green Bay, out with concussion protocol, but he could have played if they needed him, but they didn't. As you can see, the final there, Minnesota Vikings all over Green Bay, 16-3. There he is, C.J. Stroud, quarterback for the Houston Texans, watches. There it is, Riley Leonard, backup quarterback for the Colts, keeping it, going outside for a 1-yard score.
And then just moments ago, 12 seconds left, Houston down. Kaimi Fairburn comes in, 43 yards, puts it through, and so they are trying to hold on. If they win, they'll still finish behind Jacksonville in second place in the NFC South, but Houston would go into playoffs on a 9-game win streak.
All right, New Orleans Saints. Grock, remember now, they're in the state of Louisiana, okay?
All right,
Terry. Saints win, the Bucks win the NFC South. Falcons win, the Panthers win the NFC South. And it's Tyler Shuck, intercepted by D. Alford. He takes it back 59 yards into Saints territory. It's 16-10 Atlanta. And then a beautiful throw by Shuck to Ronnie Bell with a one-handed catch, a 16-yarder. It's 19-17 Atlanta over New Orleans. Onside kick is to no good. That's Smith. The onside kick is recovered by him and Atlanta as the Falcons go on to beat New Orleans 19-17. Carolina fans are celebrating as they have now won the NFC South. Congratulations, Carolina Panthers.
All right, the Giants finished the season on a 2-game win streak as they double up the Cowboys. And Cleveland knocked off the Bengals, but that wasn't the story in that game.
Burrow shotgun. Burrow to throw. Here's the throws. He got him! He got him! There it is! Myles Garrett, sack number 23, the new single-season sack king.
2.5 decades after Michael Strahan set the mark and then T.J. Watt tied it, it is now owned by Myles Garrett.
You okay, bub?
I hold the record for a 16-game season. They hold the record for 17-game season. That's the way it works out.
He's still claiming the title.
But you can't compare records from 12-game seasons to 16 and 17-game seasons. It doesn't work. But I look at it like this. There's always generation that I love the fact this young man's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I know that he has so many more sacks left in him. 30 years old. I think I had just as many, if not more, sacks after 30 as did Bruce Smith, as did Reggie White. I think he's just getting going. He's just finding his stride. And you don't know how hard it is to do that on a team that isn't always in the lead, a team that isn't always competitive. I think that is the most amazing thing about it. He's done it on a team where he's the focus. He's the guy that gets doubled and tripled every time, and it never stopped him from going out there and putting up numbers year after year.
Not playing with the lead, yeah.
Without playing with the lead. I mean, this kid is amazing. And I really just want him to be on a team, which hopefully will be Cleveland because he signed a long-term deal there, that wins and gives them the opportunity to have the ultimate thing in this game of a team game, which is a Super Bowl.
I think it's great that a guy that you have so much respect for, who does it the right way, who's had to do it on and off the field, has had to do it in really challenging circumstances, is breaking. And he genuinely, really, if a guy is going to break it, he's a great guy to break.
And you know what? He could have opted. He could have played out his contract and moved on probably. Yeah. But you know what he did, folks? He stayed right there in Cleveland.
He wants to win in Cleveland.
Well, I think it means a lot from you, too, because I know that you genuinely sit here and watch him on a week-by-week basis.
Oh, yeah.
And talk about how good a player he is and how much you admire his game and that someday he will join you in the Hall of Fame.
He's a freak show.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to watch.
But it took 17 games. Come on, let's be real here. It took
he's got the record. That's all that matters. All right, let's take a look at what we know so far here in Week 18. Here are some of the headlines. We saw yesterday the Seahawks clinch the #1 seed in the NFC, but the Panthers, they're going to be the #4 seed as they win the NFC South, and the Jaguars wrap up the AFC South. And again, if New England and Denver both lose, then they can move up to #1. So they're certainly watching these late games, as you will as well, because a lot is on the line. Caleb Williams and the Bears, part of it, if they knock off the Lions, they will be the #2 seed. It is that simple. Meanwhile, we mentioned that the New England Patriots, they still have a shot at the #1 seed. They need Denver to lose and then take care of business against Miami. And Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams getting ready, trying to end a 2-game losing streak. And with the win, they would clinch the #5 seed and be the top wildcard team in the NFC and take on the Carolina Panthers in that opening round. And so a lot at stake here. And let's start here with you, Gronk, and the Chicago Bears team. This is a team that probably, even in the first couple of weeks when they were 0-2, nobody would be talking about them having a chance of being as high as the #2 seed.
Yeah, I remember early on they got silenced by Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions, and I thought it was going to be a rough road for Ben Johnson and Chicago Bears from there on out, but they really turned it around since those losses at the beginning of the season, and they need this win. I mean, they got to get the #2 seed because then they face the Green Bay Packers instead of the Los Angeles Rams or the San Francisco 49ers, and the Green Bay Packers is such a better matchup for the Chicago Bears right now. They just beat them the other week, and the Packers, they're hurting all over the place, especially with Micah Parsons going down. In Chicago, they want to have that momentum as well. They want to keep this streak going of a hot Caleb Williams and what he's doing out there on the football field. So they got to put their best product out, win this game, and keep their hotness going into the playoffs.
Ryan Poles, I think, listen, the guy 2 years ago, he worked some magic and ended up, getting enough picks to, get this kid at quarterback and make that pick. And it's a challenging decision. And a year into it, there were questions about did they pick the right guy. And I don't think there's any question they're comfortable with their pick. But he made mistakes last year. And, it was offensive line. It was coordinator. It was the whole thing. And, no, I'm not talking about the quarterback. I'm talking about the GM. saying he made mistakes on who he hired as the offensive coordinator, the guys he brought in the offensive line. Made up for all that, and this team is going to be good for, I think, a decade.
You know what they did? You know what's amazing in Chicago is that they got Johnson. You know, he went straight to Chicago without negotiating with any other team because of why? Because he knew Williams.
Didn't even meet with him.
No, he went straight to Chicago because he knew he had Williams, and that, you know, smart. Because if you've got the quarterback, then you've got most of it solved. You got to put everything around him. And this year, we've seen that come true. I mean, he's played.
We're seeing it come true not just there, but we talked about Liam Cohen in Jacksonville.
Right.
And Michael, you look at New England. This may be a matchup of right head coach and young quarterback.
Yeah, right head coach, right quarterback, young team, brought in the right vets and Diggs and guys like that who've been playing really well for them. And here they're going against Miami at home. I mean, I don't know when the last time Miami has actually won up there in Boston, where it's pretty nippy. I don't think they do too well in that cold weather. But I just like the momentum that the Patriots have right now. They look sharp in every aspect of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. It looks like back in the heyday of the Patriots.
It really does.
Everybody was very disciplined in what they need to do. And just, what does Belichick say? Just do your job.
Yes.
And all these guys there seem to be doing it, starting with the quarterback, who looks like he could be an MVP of the league in his young career.
And Brock, you talked about that loss to the Buffalo Bills, the only loss they've had in the last 13 games, that you thought at that time, you said, that probably was a good thing for them.
Yes, it was. I mean, they were up 21-0 and lost to the Bills, and they should have beat them that game as well, just like they did the first time that they played them. But they kind of needed that because they're a young team. They got to understand what it's like getting punched in the face. If everything, I wouldn't say is handed to them, but if everything just keeps going their way and everything's going right, well, then you really don't know how to fight out of adversity, and that brought adversity to the New England Patriots. And it also gave, you know, head coach Mike Vrabel a punch in the face. All right, maybe we're not invincible. You know, these teams can come back on us, and now we got to keep the pedal on the metal and go full steam from here on out. And that's what they're doing. They're going to do that today as well versus the Miami Dolphins. I mean, it's going to be 29 degrees outside. It's going to be bittersweet out. It's going to be chilly. The Dolphins, you know, they're going to be wrapped up and be with all the warmth, all the heaters on the sidelines, but they're not going to be able to handle that cold. New England's going to come out, steamroll them, and get that momentum going into the playoffs. Hopefully, I mean, by God's grace, get the number 1 seed, but I don't know if Denver's going to lose, but at least a number 2 seed and have a home game for the playoffs.
For Miami, they have nothing to really play for at this point, so it's really hard to show up in an adverse climate and going against a team that's going to the playoffs who you know is going to come out in a certain way and really compete.
And you know, Miami might be a little bit of a transition at quarterback. They got the Ewers kid out of the University of Texas. They got him in the 5th round. And the last 2 games, I've watched him closely. Howie, he's played really, really good. So it'll be interesting if, in fact, that is the transition that he's going to play against today. And for all you young quarterbacks out there watching Drake May, watch him today in the pocket. He is one of the smoothest operators for such a young quarterback that I've ever seen come into this league.
Well, a quarterback that seems to have gotten his act together with a new head coach, Trevor Lawrence. We talked about them winning the AFC South. Here's a look inside their victorious locker room.
Hell of a year. We're just getting started. The work starts now, man. Think about how much work we put in to get here. Yes, sir. Let's not let it go to waste, man. 1 week at a time. Love y'all. Jacks on 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right, and so they are champs of the AFC South. They are watching the late games to see what happens as they try and peak and get into that number 1 seed in the AFC. We'll find out about that later on. One thing we do know is Chicago is ready. The Bears lost the last time they played to the Lions 52-21, so a little revenge on their mind, because if they win today, they will be the number 2 seed throughout the NFC playoffs. Kickoff is next.